So, Mike.
Yes, sir.
So, I did a show on Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? Yes, Wednesday. I did a special show on Wednesday in response to the primary, the New Hampshire primary.
Yeah.
And I posted it everywhere. You can get it if you haven't listened to it. You can get it on, iTunes, iHeartRadio, yada yada yada, and go listen to it. And I posted on YouTube as well. And this guy starts debating me. And apparently, according to him, because I'm not a big Bernie Sanders fan, that's who I talked about after he won the New Hampshire primary. And
yeah.
I talked about him. Apparently, because I'm not a big Bernie Sanders fan, I am an idiot.
Oh.
I don't know math. I don't have a moral compass. Because apparently I want 40,000 people to die every year because they don't have access to health care. And I don't like science.
Huh.
So
I'm going to disagree because I watched you go through this list as you counted on your fingers. So you can do math.
Yes.
I don't think you want people to die.
He says my moral compass is way off. And I'm extreme like Alex Jones. And if you know who Alex Jones is, he's a 9/11 conspiracy guy. So there you go. So yeah.
That's beyond reason.
So this is what happens. You don't support him, and it's just I am an idiot. I'm the worst person in the world. I hate science.
I'm totally for opposing viewpoints. That's what makes our whole nation work the way it works. But that doesn't mean that you're an idiot and that you don't.
According to him, I was, and he said my radio show was sad and yada 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 because I don't support Bernie Sanders.
Well, look,
and
I'm sure there's an extreme Bernie Sanders podcast out there somewhere that he can listen to.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure there's plenty. I'm sure he trolls those just like he trolls me. A lot of people like trolling me lately, which is fine. Whatever. But
I think it means you're doing it right.
He originally got offended because I called him Sanders Claus. That's who he is, Sanders Claus, I think. And so there you go. And the reason why... Get this. The reason why I don't like science or don't believe in science is because I said, do you honestly think... Because Bernie Sanders is big on getting rid of the special interests or whatever he says. And I said, do you honestly think Bernie Sanders has no special interests he's trying to appease to? He is trying to pass union legislation. The unions are a huge special interest in this country. I hope you all know that. And he wants to subsidize green energy, tax the oil companies to massively subsidize green energy. Their interests, too. They have lobbying groups just as much as anybody else. They're lobbyists. And I said, so do you honestly think he doesn't have special interests? And that means I hate science. Yeah. Do you hate science? Because global warming is a fact. And because you don't believe it, you must hate science. You must be ignorant and an idiot and a fool. So...
There's just no reasoning with people like that.
So, by the way, this is another edition of Beyond Reason Radio. I am your voice of reason, Michael Yaffee, in a world that is beyond reason. And that who I was talking to is executive producer, Mr. Michael Formasano. And we do the show every Monday and Friday at 8 p.m. at BeyondReasonRadio.com and the Beyond Reason Radio app. And then the podcast is available anywhere, basically, that you can find it. So,
and I mean anywhere.
Yes.
It's everywhere.
Yes, pretty much. Pretty much. This is very true. So, there was a debate yesterday, Democrat debate, which I did not watch the whole thing live. I watched it later because I wanted to go to sleep. Sleep was much more important to me than watching two candidates constantly complain about American institutions and our country. So, but there were some things I caught in the debate. And really, once again, I'm going to talk mostly about Bernie Sanders. But Hillary Clinton's winning, and Hillary Clinton was there, and she said stuff too. Here's the thing. Hillary Clinton is basically Bernie Sanders light. She basically wants the same things as Bernie Sanders, but she wants to get there more gradually. She wants to have a more gradual approach that will take much longer over time to get to these goals, but her socialist goals are the same in the long run. But Bernie Sanders is interesting because even if he does not win, even if Bernie Sanders does not win the nomination, or if he does win the nomination and loses the election, this is very historic, a very crucial point in our country's history right now. Because for a while now, the Democrat Party has become more and more socialist, more and more big government, more and more redistribution of wealth, more and more government intervention in the economy. And there's no doubt that Bernie Sanders wants government intervention in the economy. And then, by the way, that was the big thing that I forgot earlier about. Another thing that I was called a liar. I was called a liar, an idiot. I hate science. I have no moral compass because I don't like Bernie Sanders.
Did he call you like fat too? Because it sounds like he's just trying to go to
maybe,
all of the...
Maybe. And the reason why he said I was a liar is because I said Bernie Sanders has, if all of his plans for new taxes were put into effect, it would equal $19 trillion in new taxes over 10 years. I said that would be taking $19 trillion out of the economy, putting it into government, and then the government does with it what it wishes. He said I was a liar. Why? Because that's not taking it out of the economy. Mike, where does that money come from? Where does that money come from?
Taxes.
Where do taxes come from?
People. Us.
People.
The Americans.
Businesses.
The
economy.
Well. All of it.
It has to come out of the economy first.
True.
That's just a fact. You have to take it from the private sector to put it into government. Now, some of that might trickle out back into the private sector, but it will based on what the government wants it to do. And it's just a redistribution. It's just a transfer of wealth.
I don't know if I can trust you because you're a liar.
Yeah, I know.
And you're dumb.
I know. But we're at a point now where Bernie Sanders we're at a point now where the Democrat Party is no longer just playing socialist but not really saying it. They were going socialist for a while, but they wouldn't say it. They were too afraid to say it. We're at a point now where they are straight up saying it, where they are straight up wanting to do it. They want single-payer health care. They want more government intervention in the economy, free college tuition, free daycare, pre-kindergarten daycare, all this stuff. And that's where we are now. It's a crucial step. So even if Bernie Sanders does not win, he is starting a movement that if we don't battle that movement, it's going to continue to grow, especially in the Yaffee generation, especially your generation, Mike. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things that he said in the debate and address them. And if you want to comment, you can follow me on Twitter at BeyondReasonR. That is Beyond Reason, the letter R, or like us on Facebook, facebook.com/BeyondReasonRadio. Or if you follow us on Spreaker, you can chat with us live during the show. If you download the Beyond Reason Radio app, you can literally chat with us live during the show on the Beyond Reason Radio app.
You can do it right now.
So go to the Google Play or Apple App Store.
I'm looking at the chat screen right now.
Yeah, download the app and you can chat with us live during the show. Okay, so one thing I wanted to address from the debate from Bernie Sanders. I'm going to play this here, and then I'm going to talk about how this is absolutely not true, but this is a big thing that is fueling the popularity of Bernie Sanders. This is the cut from the Democrat debate. PBS moderated it last night.
I think we have to understand that in the last 30 years in this country, there has been a massive transfer of wealth going from the hands of working families into the top 1/10 of 1%, whose percentage of wealth has doubled. In other words, very rich are getting richer. Almost everybody else is getting poorer.
Okay, so Mike, when you hear someone say a massive transfer of wealth, a transfer is going from one person to another person or going from one organization to another organization, a massive transfer of wealth, that there's a pie and that he's saying the rich are taking more of that pie, and we're getting less and less of that pie. Okay, and a lot of people think that because it seems like, because income inequality has grown, especially under Obama, by the way. But it has grown where the rich are getting richer. But he said for the last 3 decades, there's been a massive transfer of wealth where the rich have gotten richer, but the poor have gotten poorer. Did he not say that?
That's what I heard.
Okay, just making sure, because apparently I'm a liar. I just lie. That's not true. In fact, yes, the rich did get richer, and yes, they did get richer at a much faster rate in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Okay? I'm not denying that. But so did everybody else. Every income group grew, got richer during that same period. So everybody was doing better. Yes, the richer were doing better at it, even better at a much faster rate. But to say that the rich were getting richer and the poor were getting poorer, that is saying that the rich are taking more money from the poor. But what that doesn't understand, this is kind of like economics 101, is that it assumes that the pie stays the same size. That doesn't happen because wealth continues to grow. So all classes were getting a little more wealthy through that same time. They were not getting poor. They were getting richer as well. Everybody was getting richer. And the big reason also why the rich were getting richer faster and there was more income inequality is because a lot of people in the middle class were getting so rich that they were no longer in the middle class because they were a part of the upper class. More people were getting into the upper class. So that also had to do with income inequality. But the whole idea of the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer makes it seem like the rich are taking more of your money. But that's not the case. In fact, if you want to talk about a massive transfer of wealth, the biggest transfer of wealth comes from the people, the private sector, to the government. And then the other lie is, of course, that the rich are not paying their share of taxes, which also isn't true because 58% of the taxes, the revenue that the government gets, 58% of it comes from the top 10%. So 58% of that government budget comes from the top 10%. The bottom 40% pretty much pay no income taxes. Another thing that they like to say, which is not true. All right, so I dealt with that. I'm sure I'll get a bunch of people calling me all kinds of names now, which is fine. It's beyond reason, but whatever. It's kind of how I'm kind of getting used to it.
That's how it works.
And so this is another thing. This is another comment by Bernie Sanders shortly after that. And it kind of goes a couple things that he wants to propose that we're going to go over a little bit one by one, given how much time we have. But this is what he said.
What I believe is the United States, in fact, should join the rest of the industrialized world and guarantee health care to all people. Our Medicare for All single-payer proposal will save the average middle-class family $5,000 a year. I do believe that in the year 2016, we have to look in terms of public education as colleges, as part of public education, making public colleges and universities tuition-free. I believe that when real unemployment is close to 10%, and when our infrastructure, our roads, our bridges, our water systems, Flint, Michigan comes to mind, our wastewater plants, our rail, our airports, in many places are disintegrating, we can create 13 million jobs by rebuilding our infrastructure at a cost of $1 trillion.
Oh, that was another thing that I was called a liar for, by the way, Mike.
Was what?
I said if they raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour, another thing Bernie Sanders is proposing, a lot of people will get laid off, and their wages will go from 15 to 0.
You're a liar.
How is that? I might be one of those people, by the way. You would probably be one of those people.
I might be one of those people.
We would probably be laid off. A lot of us would be laid off. Now, when you're laid off, doesn't your income go from that to $0 when you're unemployed? Unless you get unemployment benefits, I guess, for a little while. Your income would be $0 an hour? Do we just assume that all the businesses are going to pay that Do you honestly think where we work, they're going to pay that?
Where does that money come from?
Well, I don't know. They're just rich. They just have it.
No, they don't. They don't have that money to give us. That's why we're in the position we're in.
Okay. You obviously don't know math and science, Mike.
I don't know.
And you're a liar. But that was another thing.
I'm a liar because obviously every business can afford $15 an hour to pay their employees.
Yeah. Yeah. So, a whole other thing. But before we go to break, and by the way, I'm going to throw you Bernie Sanders fans a bone, and I'm going to give you 13 reasons why we should vote for Bernie Sanders. So, 13 reasons why millennials, the Yaffee generation, should vote for Bernie Sanders. We're gonna go over that. So I'll give you a break, Bernie Sanders fans. We'll go over some of that for you. It'll be very interesting. But there's another thing I want to address. The first thing he talked about there was healthcare. He wants a single payer basic healthcare system, and he says that healthcare is a right. You have a right to healthcare provided by the government, is what he said. What came to my mind earlier today, and a lot of people don't think about this, and it seems like an easy question to answer, but it's not. Mike, define healthcare.
Providing care to health.
Very, very good. Okay. But when they say the government should we have a right to health care, what does that mean?
We have a right to be able to find care for our health.
Okay. So what does that include?
That we should be... What do you mean?
It's not as easy to define as you think because healthcare, your health, involves a lot of different things, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So what if you say, I don't know, what if you have like a bad back and you need a chiropractor? Should the government, that's considered healthcare, right? That's for your health.
Caring for your health.
Should the government provide that? What does this include? It's very...
I see what you're saying. Where do we draw the lines here?
Well, yeah, because when you just say you have a right to health care, we all have access to health care. If you go in an emergency room right now, they have to take care of you by law. Not only that, but there are free clinics that exist out there for people who can't afford health care to get it. But what does that mean? I have a right to health care. Does that mean I have a right to the vast amounts of different medicines that are out there? Vast amounts of different treatments, no matter how much they cost and what they are? The vast amounts of different kind of ways that can benefit your health, from acupuncture to chiropractor to MRIs to physical therapy? Or does it mean you just have to go somewhere and they can at least give you a Band-Aid? See, we don't think about this. Define it for me. And the reason I bring this up is because another thing I get criticized for is the quality. They say, oh, we'll all have access to healthcare under a government system. But will the quality of care be any good? Will it be any better? There's no way to guarantee that. We'll have access to a hospital, but will that hospital give you a better quality care than what you're getting now if it's run by the government? And what does that mean? What are they legally obliged to provide for? They don't know. But it's just good to say, free healthcare. We're going to talk about this more and 13 reasons why millennials should vote for Bernie Sanders. You're listening to Beyond Reason Radio here at BeyondReasonRadio.com and the Beyond Reason Radio app.
It would be beyond reason not to listen to Yaffee on your TuneIn Radio app. Download the app today and search Beyond Reason Radio.
Hey, this is Mike Yaffee from Buttheadinger Live and Beyond Reason Radio, and I have a question for you. Are you planning on taking any long road trips? Well, I have the perfect tool for you to make that trip go by a little bit faster. What you want to do is download the iHeartRadio app. With the iHeartRadio app, you can find your favorite music stations or create your own custom station. Don't forget to look up your favorite talk show hosts. You can find that on there as well. Make sure to download the app today at iHeartRadio.com.
For the people in our military, it's a time of sacrifice and duty. That's why all 4 military aid societies have joined together to form the Armed Forces Relief Trust to help military families cope with financial and medical emergencies at home. With so many serving overseas, the need is greater than ever. You can learn more and donate at www.afrtrust.org. A message from the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Are you a small business owner in the Orlando area? Are you looking for a new, affordable way to advertise your business? Well, look no further than Beyond Reason Radio. By advertising on Beyond Reason Radio, you use the power of the internet, of radio, and of podcast. Beyond Reason Radio is available on pretty much any podcast outlet you can think of, and that means your advertisement could be on those podcast outlets as well. What better way is there to reach a loyal conservative audience for you? On Beyond Reason Radio, you get personal advertising by me, Michael Yaffee, the host, to reach people who are interested in your business. If you're interested in advertising on Beyond Reason Radio or the website beyondreasonradio.com or the podcast available, like I said, anywhere, all you have to do is go to the Facebook page, like the Facebook page at facebook.com/Beyond Reason Radio, and send me a message telling me about your business and say you're interested in advertising. Why not help lift your business up today by advertising on Beyond Reason Radio?
Every 30 minutes, another innocent person is killed due to a drunk driver.
My best friend. My brother. My poor grandchild.
My sister.
My father.
My husband.
My mom. My mommy.
Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you.
Stop these tragedies before they happen. Don't drink and drive.
If you miss any of the show, you can download the Beyond Reason podcast on iTunes. Now, back to Beyond Reason Radio.
Welcome back to the show. We do the show every Monday and Friday at 8 p.m. Download the Beyond Reason Radio app. You can listen to the podcasts, or you can listen to it live when we do the show live, and you can chat with the show live when we do the show live. So thank you all for listening to Beyond Reason Radio. I'm your voice of reason, Michael Yaffee, in a world that is beyond reason. So real quick, I talked about on Wednesday some of the failings of Obamacare. You know, the great government health care that we had through Obama. Well, I talked about how United Healthcare is thinking about pulling out of the exchanges. Aetna is talking about losing tons of profit, might have to pull out of the exchanges. They have co-ops that have had to pull out of the exchanges. And now you have another one, Humana. Humana is a big part of the healthcare exchanges. Well, last year, actually, no, this was this year, it just reported that profits fell 30% in the last quarter of 2015. 30%. Aetna said it lost up to 4% on its Obamacare policies. And United Healthcare expects to lose $650 million in this year and next year. So there you go. That's how great the government is at doing healthcare. Now, the other thing is we talked about define healthcare, because in countries like Scotland, for example, in Canada and so forth, they have what's so-called right to healthcare, where everyone through the government has access to healthcare. But how good is that healthcare? Even the guy I was talking to who's debating me, calling me a liar and all these names, he even admit that waiting lines and organization is a big problem with single payer. Well, what happens in that waiting line? Because the whole point is, he told me 40,000 people a year, apparently in the U.S., die because they're afraid to go into the hospital because they don't have health insurance. And he says that doesn't happen where single payer is. Are you sure? Here's the thing. There was a study done, and what they found, where did I find that study? In 2008, a group of investigators conducted a worldwide study of cancer survival rates called Concord. The investigators asked the question, if you get diagnosed in your country with breast cancer or colon cancer or prostate cancer, how long are you likely to live? If you're diagnosed with breast cancer in the U.S., you have an 84% chance of living for 5 years. In Scotland, it goes down to 71%. So that means people are dying. Some people that, if they were in the U.S. care, could have lived longer because they were in the single-payer health care. They died quicker. All right. If you have colon cancer in the U.S., you have about a 60% chance of surviving 5 years. In Scotland, it's 46%. If you have prostate cancer in the U.S., you have a 92% of chance of living 5 years. In Scotland, it's 48%. Went from 92 to 48. That means that there are people dying in those countries because they don't have access to quality care. That's just one of many things that happens with single payer. And even people who like single payer admit that there's problems with organizations, problems with waiting lines. If you have very bad conditions, it's hard to get quality care. Not only that, but in countries like Britain and Germany, most people, yes, they have access to government health care, but it's terrible. So you know what they do? They buy supplemental insurance. Because the quality of care isn't that good, the access to it isn't that great, the waiting lines are terrible. So in order to get better care, all-around care, they still have to buy health insurance, a supplemental insurance. That's what will have to happen here if this happens. So this whole idea that single payer is just better in every way is not true. Now, Mike, if you can, I want you to play that Sanders cut again, Sanders cut number 2. Because there was another thing he proposed that, once again, I have to talk about. So here it is.
What I believe is the United States, in fact, should join the rest of the industrialized world and guarantee health care to all people. Our Medicare for All single-payer proposal will save the average middle-class family $5,000 a year. I do believe that in the year 2016, we have to look in terms of public education as colleges, as part of public education, making public colleges and universities tuition free. I believe that when real unemployment is close to 10%, and when our infrastructure, our roads, our bridges, our water systems, Flint, Michigan comes to mind, our wastewater plants, our rail, our airports, in many places are disintegrating, we can create 13 million jobs by rebuilding our infrastructure at a cost of $1 trillion.
All right, so the next thing he addresses is free college tuition. By the way, we'll get to the crumbling infrastructure. This is what I always hear. The infrastructure is crumbling. Mike, I don't even know how you made it here today because the roads are crumbling.
They're crumbled.
They're crumbling.
They're
I don't understand
crumbled.
how you're doing that, even though we have a new massive reconstruction of our main highway here. Apparently, the roads and everything are still crumbling, and we need to invest another $1 trillion in infrastructure. But whatever, fine. A lot of people believe that. But in terms of college tuition, he talks about how, well, in 2016, he kind of has a pace of Obama. It's a different voice, it's a different tone, but his pace is the same, where he like pauses a lot. Just something I just noticed right now, kind of beyond reason. But he says, for one, we should all, because you need a college degree to get a job now, we should all be guaranteed, access to college for free. Okay. Now, for one, in countries that do that, it's a lot harder to get into those colleges. So all you people are thinking, yeah, I'll have free college. It doesn't mean you're actually going to be able to get in. It will be a lot harder to get in because...
It would be a lot harder, yeah.
Because they're not going to be able to afford it.
More competition, one.
Yeah.
It'd be much more expensive. And
because they can't afford it because there's no private money coming in.
Yeah.
It's just whatever the government pays for it.
But my question is, if you're going to spend the money to go to college, that doesn't necessarily mean working in the infrastructure is what you're going to go to. It doesn't all mean that's okay. That's the job. Well,
the good news is, Mike, that if you and I get laid off because of $15 an hour minimum wage, we'll at least be able to go pave roads because they're investing in infrastructure too. Yeah. So you looking forward to that? You
I'm practicing right now, as you can see, by working in this profession.
Right, yeah, exactly. But here's the other thing that's interesting.
It'll be real useful.
Why are so many people? Why do you need a college degree right now to get a good job? Because everyone has one. So if everybody,
it's becoming like a diploma.
It's becoming like diplomas because everyone has one. Do you honestly think that won't happen if everyone has, even more people have a college degree, and you guarantee it by the government, eventually jobs are going to require a master's degree? Okay, well, the master's degree isn't part of the government program. So does that mean that once we are all required to get a master's degree to get a good job, does that mean the government's going to come in and say, in 2025, we must guarantee master's degree? Where does this end? The other thing is the main reason why college is going up is because we're already heavily subsidizing it. In fact, the National Bureau of Economic Research report that the rise in tuition is directly tied to the rise of government subsidizing loans, grants, and tax credits. In fact, those loans, grants, and tax credits shot up 134% in the past 15 years and 22% just under Obama. Combined with state aid, the government is pouring more than $239 billion a year into programs designed to make college less expensive. What they found that the more they've put into, the more government aid and money they've put into college programs, the more expensive college gets. So can you imagine if that guaranteed government money wasn't there, maybe college wouldn't be so expensive in the first place. But they want to do the direct opposite. Have government totally take it over. It would be harder to get in. The quality would be terrible because the government would have to cut costs to pay for it. And eventually it won't be good enough, and then they'll say we have to have free master's education as well. So another thing Bernie Sanders isn't telling you, which is beyond reason. But like I said, I'm a reasonable guy. I'm the voice of reason after all. So I'm going to give you 13 reasons, if you're a part of my generation, to vote for Bernie Sanders. I know you're all looking forward to that. We'll get to that and more. You're listening to Beyond Reason Radio here, beyondreasonradio.com, and the Beyond Reason Radio app.
Listen to the latest episodes of Beyond Reason. Download the podcast at Spreaker.com.
Hey, this is Mike Yaffee from Buttheadinger Live and Beyond Reason Radio, and I have a question for you. Are you planning on taking any long road trips? Well, I have the perfect tool for you to make that trip go by a little bit faster. What you want to do is download the iHeartRadio app. With the iHeartRadio app, you can find your favorite music stations or create your own custom station. Don't forget to look up your favorite talk show hosts. You can find that on there as well. Make sure to download the app today at iHeartRadio.com.
For the people in our military, it's a time of sacrifice and duty. That's why all 4 military aid societies have joined together to form the Armed Forces Relief Trust to help military families cope with financial and medical emergencies at home. With so many serving overseas, the need is greater than ever. You can learn more and donate at www.afrtrust.org. A message from the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Are you a small business owner in the Orlando area? Are you looking for a new, affordable way to advertise your business? Well, look no further than Beyond Reason Radio. By advertising on Beyond Reason Radio, you use the power of the internet, of radio, and of podcast. Beyond Reason Radio is available on pretty much any podcast outlet you can think of, and that means your advertisement could be on those podcast outlets as well. What better way is there to reach a loyal, conservative audience for you? On Beyond Reason Radio, you get personal advertising by me, Michael Yaffee, the host, to reach people who are interested in your business. If you're interested in advertising on Beyond Reason Radio or the website beyondreasonradio.com or the podcast available, like I said, anywhere, All you have to do is go to the Facebook page, like the Facebook page at facebook.com/Beyond Reason Radio, and send me a message telling me about your business and say you're interested in advertising. Why not help lift your business up today by advertising on Beyond Reason Radio?
Every 30 minutes, another innocent person is killed due to a drunk driver.
My best friend.
My brother.
My poor grandchild.
My sister.
My father.
My husband.
My mom. My mommy.
Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you.
Stop these tragedies before they happen. Don't drink and drive.
Listen to the latest episodes of Beyond Reason. Download the podcast at Spreaker.com.
All right, we have gotten to that time, everybody. I know this is what you've been waiting for. The whole entire show. The whole entire Beyond Reason Radio. Before I get to that, though, I do want to thank the guys at Freedom All Day Apparel, or FAD. They have great shirts that you can buy with the logo Freedom All Day, and the point of it is to show that the new fad is to show your patriotism. So if you go to freedomalldayaapparel.com, you can get some of their merchandise, and they were nice enough to send me a couple shirts and a couple decals and everything, and we'll talk about them more later on in some future shows, but I just wanted to say thanks to them. You can go to freedomalldayaapparel.com. It's made in the U.S., and just a cool way to show your patriotism. Let's start a new fad. I'm all about starting new patriotic fads, so I want to thank them out there. Okay, so this is the moment you've all been waiting for in the Beyond Reason radio show. Yes, the crowd's going wild.
Get pumped.
Yes, the millennials out there need to know. They need to know. What are some reasons to vote for Bernie Sanders? I've been, dissing him a little bit, but, throw him a break here. So,
Gonna throw him a bone.
We have 13 reasons from pjmedia.com. 13 reasons.
13 full reasons. Very
to
lucky.
vote for Bernie Sanders. Yeah, very lucky. Good point. All right, and Mike, our executive producer, is going to go through some of the list for us. What's number 13, Mike?
Starting at the top or the bottom, whichever way you want to look at it. Number 13, Bernie will ensure we love what we have by ensuring we have less.
Yes. So we'll appreciate more what we have because the economy will suffer so much that we won't have nearly as much. So we'll be very appreciative of what we do have. That's very good. Yes. So a reason to vote for Bernie Sanders. I like that. All right. Okay. What's number 12? That's a good reason.
Very humbling.
Yes.
Number 12, Bernie will make life simpler.
That's true. It kind of goes with number 13. How will he make it simpler?
When every dollar in your bank account buys you fewer things, you will have fewer choices. When his environmental regulations make driving more expensive, choosing where to go out won't really be a problem anymore.
In the Soviet Union, life was simple because you pretty much had the choice of government bread or government bread.
Or government cheese. Don't forget about the cheese.
Yeah, so there you go. So, yeah, you had the choice of one bread line versus the other. So that's good. That's good. All right, what's number 11?
Number 11, jobs are like chores. And with Bernie, we won't have as many jobs to do.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. Jobs are like, who wants a job? Who wants a job, especially when the government's going to provide health care and
We're going to
free
take all the money
education.
from the billionaires so you don't have to work.
I like your impression's getting good.
Trying.
That's good. So that's good. Yeah, who wants to work at a job and actually be successful? No, that's like chores. So yeah, another reason. That's a good reason. I like that. Okay, what's next, Mike?
Number 10, everyone will get to play in the Hunger Games. Find your district.
Yeah. I'm just looking forward to that. All right, what's next?
Number 9, Bernienomics 101. Ready for it?
Yes.
Bernienomics will solve illegal immigration. No one will risk crossing the desert to come to the United States when there aren't any jobs here.
Oh, That's true. That would be the fastest
reason to
way to solve illegal immigration. We wouldn't have to build the wall.
You guys getting more excited now about Bernie?
Yeah, so I mean,
it's a great
Bernie
reasons.
should thank us. He should thank us.
We're
because,
like pretty much endorsing him right now.
Yes, this
Full
is
on.
true. Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, go ahead.
Number 8, Bernie will make us happier. When you get your college debt forgiven and a raise at Starbucks without doing anything more than, voting for millions and millions of millennials, we'll get a little taste of Powerball politics style. Never mind earned success. Bernie will finally show us that happiness is something you are given by somebody else, not something you work for.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
It's very kind.
Who wants to work for happiness?
Very kind
Forget
of him.
that. Just give it to us. I like that. All right, go ahead.
Number 7, Bernie will help America learn valuable lessons about our Constitution.
Go on.
We didn't really need to debate the meaning of take care of the laws be faithfully executed. Take care that the laws be faithfully executed until President Obama stopped executing. Am I saying this right? It's really written weird. Until President Obama stopped executing our immigration laws. If you thought Dodd-Frank and Obamacare caused too much litigation, just think of anyone rich enough to hire a lawyer who stands to lose under Bernie's politics. They will sue. President Sanders is a trial lawyer's wildest dream come true.
It's a good point. So we'll be able to understand the laws more, sort of, because we'll have to hire lawyers to get through them all. So that's good. All right, what's next?
By the looks of him, the 74-year-old Bernie is on the edge. He might teach American school children the constitutional process for what happens when the commander-in-chief keels over.
I don't know, man. He looked that way 30 years ago, so he might live for a while. I don't know.
We
I
only need 4 years out of him.
I was watching this thing on Hulu where a guy said a joke. He's like, how is Bernie only 6 years older than Hillary? Was he in the womb for 30 years or something? All right, go ahead.
Number 5, vote Bernie to show Americans real gridlock.
Yeah, well, that's true, because they often complain about the gridlock in Congress, that nothing can get done. Do you honestly think any of Bernie's proposals in a Republican Congress are going to get passed? You're definitely going to see gridlock more than what you saw with Obama. So if you like gridlock, that's good. There you go. Go ahead.
Number 4, vote for Bernie because you really like the guy.
Oh, he is a nice guy. He's a nice fella. Seems genuine, I guess. So that, I mean, when I go vote, that's why I vote.
He's
I like him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Number 3,
We're
you
getting
want
there.
to stick it to corporate banks. Vote Bernie to show America that Clinton is a corporate banking tool who has happily exchanged big checks for Bubba's protection speeches.
So, yeah, we'll stick it because the banks are paying for Hillary, and then we vote for Bernie to stick it to them. Oh, okay. All right. See? Bernie, I'm telling you, he should be thanking us. Go ahead, Mike. What's number 2?
Number 2, he's not Hillary.
That's true. By the way, did you see? You should go, if you didn't watch the debate, go Google it or whatever and see what Hillary was wearing. She was wearing like a Chairman Mao suit. It was like a gold thing, like a pant. It wasn't like a pants. I don't even know how to explain it. Like what Kim Jong-un wears,
Ooh.
the jacket. It was like that, but it was like a gold color. And I was like, what is she wear? What is happening?
Someone
Chairman
needs to take her
Hillary.
to TJ Maxx.
TJ, yeah, no, it's true. TJ Maxx.
Are you ready?
Imagine Hillary going to TJ Maxx. Come on.
That'd be hilarious. I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton and TJ Maxx.
Right. All right, number 1.
You ready for this?
Yes.
Are you guys ready for this out there? Yeah? Yeah? You pumped? Number 1, because you want Republicans to win in 2016.
Yay! Which is true because I don't know if this country's at a point where we would vote in admitted socialists, so it would just help us win. I think if Hillary wins, though, we have just as maybe even a bigger chance of beating her. So there you go. Look at that. So all you Bernie Sanders fans out there, There you go. I threw your guy a bone. I gave reasons to vote for the socialist. All right, when we come back, there's a new ad by Ted Cruz. That is awesome. And we're going to play it. You're listening to Beyond Reason Radio here, beyondreasonradio.com and the Beyond Reason Radio app.
You can catch the latest Beyond Reason podcast on SoundCloud today.
Hey, this is Mike Yaffee from Bud Hedinger Live and Beyond Reason Radio, and I have a question for you. Are you planning on taking any long road trips? Well, I have the perfect tool for you to make that trip go by a little bit faster. What you want to do is download the iHeartRadio app. With the iHeartRadio app, you can find your favorite music stations or create your own custom station. Don't forget to look up your favorite talk show hosts. You can find that on there as well. Make sure to download the app today at iHeartRadio.com.
For the people in our military, it's a time of sacrifice and duty. That's why all 4 military aid societies have joined together to form the Armed Forces Relief Trust to help military families cope with financial and medical emergencies at home. With so many serving overseas, the need is greater than ever. You can learn more and donate at www.afrtrust.org. A message from the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Are you a small business owner in the Orlando area? Are you looking for a new, affordable way to advertise your business? Well, look no further than Beyond Reason Radio. By advertising on Beyond Reason Radio, you use the power of the internet, of radio, and of podcast. Beyond Reason Radio is available on pretty much any podcast outlet you can think of, and that means your advertisement could be on those podcast outlets as well. What better way is there to reach a loyal conservative audience for you? On Beyond Reason Radio, you get personal advertising by me, Michael Yaffee, the host, to reach people who are interested in your business. If you're interested in advertising on Beyond Reason Radio or the website beyondreasonradio.com or the podcast available, like I said, anywhere, all you have to do is go to the Facebook page, like the Facebook page at facebook.com/Beyond Reason Radio, and send me a message telling me about your business and say you're interested in advertising. Why not help lift your business up today by advertising on Beyond Reason Radio?
Every 30 minutes, another innocent person is killed due to a drunk driver.
My best friend.
My brother.
My poor grandchild.
My sister.
My father.
My husband.
My mom. My mommy.
Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you.
Stop these tragedies before they happen. Don't drink and drive.
Subscribe to the Beyond Reason podcast today on your Stitcher app and hear the voice of reason anytime.
Welcome back to the show. This is Beyond Reason Radio, Orlando Smart Talk Radio, your voice of reason in a world that is beyond reason. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at Beyond Reason R. That is Beyond Reason, the letter R. So, Mike, it's Valentine's Day. Well, not today, but
do you have
Sunday.
to remind me?
What? Not doing anything special for the day?
Oh, I'm doing something special, but it's not. It's because I'm going to be dateless.
Oh, I like that. I like that. You know, I was told today that, you know, my idea for a date wasn't so good. And,
Which
you know,
was?
well, I mean, I was told that I can't order a Diet Coke with a lemon and use a coupon while I'm there. You know, while I order the Diet Coke and watching the debate, because the GOP debate Saturday night. So
all right. Well,
my idea, no.
The coupon thing might be, you know, you might want to scrap that one.
No.
But as far
I don't know what to do now. Then that was my plan.
As far as the debate, maybe make a date out of that.
So maybe make a date out of it. So now I should
because there's nothing more sexy and
now there
romantic.
was a study among young people that girls actually want their guys to be more involved in politics. So I should have every girl on the planet.
You know what that sentence didn't have?
What?
On Valentine's Day.
Yeah, this is good. This is a good point. So my plan of Diet Coke and watching the GOP debate.
Look, I'm all for your Diet Coke thing with your lemon. That's fine.
Oh, okay.
It's un-American if somebody tells you not to drink a Diet Coke with a lemon.
Well, yeah, but we're supposed to drink. Apparently, the top things you want to do on a date for Valentine's Day is vodka and sushi.
What? Where on earth did you hear this from?
I heard it on the news
No, false.
earlier.
Champagne and sushi. Sushi works.
Yeah, sushi apparently is good. So champagne.
Vodka.
Champagne's better
yeah,
than...
if you're trying to have a crazy, wild Valentine's Day, if you're trying to spice up the romance again in your marriage, maybe some vodka, but...
Oh, okay. I mean, I did take a minnow shot once.
Yep,
So
there's
I
proof of
could,
that.
instead of getting sushi and vodka, I could get a minnow shot in vodka and just kill two birds with one
You
stone
know what?
right there.
If whoever you're taking out doesn't enjoy that, then just,
I know. I wouldn't understand the problem.
red flag.
All right. So speaking of red flags, actually, I don't know what this probably doesn't have anything to do with red flags, but there's a new ad out by Ted Cruz. And before I play it, I want you to picture this is kids playing with action figures. That's all you need to know. And this ad is pure genius. Here it is.
Look, I got the Trump action figure.
No way, that's huge.
What does he do? He pretends to be a Republican.
I like bailouts for the banks.
Too big to fail. I gave money to Pelosi, Reid, and Anthony Weiner.
Hey, Hillary, I'll give you money to be my friend.
Check out my house, Mr. Trump. That's a lousy house. I'm gonna take your house with eminent domain and park my limos there. Eminent domain!
We wouldn't tolerate these values in our children. Why would we want them in a president?
Wow.
Yeah, it's better if you see it. Just YouTube it. It's
That
out
was
there.
great.
It's just funny to see. What does he do?
I thoroughly enjoy clever campaign ads like that.
You do.
I'm so sick of the Did you know that last year this Republican spent this much money on nothing?
I know. But apparently those work. Although Trump says he's not going to go negative anymore. Which...
He's not what?
Going to go negative on his ads.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I mean, he'll throw F-bombs and stuff during rallies, but he's not going to go negative on his ads. Now, there was a couple other ads out there that Ted Cruz did as well, which I don't have the audio for because it doesn't really work. You have to see it. But did you ever see the movie The Office?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
I think we're talking about the same movie. The Office?
Or not The Office.
Office Space? Okay,
yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. That's what I thought you meant to say.
I mixed it up with the show, yeah.
Yeah,
Office
that's what I thought
Space.
you meant to say.
Great
yes,
movie.
I have. Absolutely.
Great, especially if you ever worked in an office. It's perfect.
Yeah.
But there's an ad out there by Ted Cruz where you know the part in
you just
Office...
want the stapler back?
That would be even funnier. But no. You know the part in Office Space where they take the printer out to the field and they beat it with a baseball bat and they're just destroying it?
Old school style,
and
too.
it has that song. It's like...
Yeah, it's hip-hop.
Damn, it feels good to be a gangster.
Yep.
They
take the baseball bat to it and stuff. Absolutely, I know what you're talking about.
It was great. It was great. So he did an ad where instead of saying, damn, it feels good to be a gangster, it says, damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. And it shows Hillary Clinton and like a couple of her aides or whatever. I forget who else it's supposed to be. And she has the baseball bat and she's destroying her email server. So she's out there and she has her destroying her email server.
SNL did a good bit on that too.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, they did. It was Hillary from the past visits Hillary from the future, from the last election to this election.
Oh, yeah.
And last election, Hillary's like, oh, just hold on a second. I need to send some emails. And future Hillary, now present day, grabs the phone, smashes it into a billion pieces and says, you'll thank me later. That one's funny.
Dang, I have not seen that.
Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Available on
good.
Hulu.
There's another show It's on Hulu now that you would probably really like, Mike. You remember Triumph the Insult Dog? Remember him? The little puppet, the dog puppet.
Yeah, with the cigar.
He has a whole election special.
I believe
where he like goes. It's on Hulu, where he like goes to these campaign rallies, and he makes fun of both Democrats and Republicans.
Easy to do.
And he goes to. It's funny. He goes to a Kasich rally, and there's the debt. He has the debt clock that shows how much the debt's climbing, and Triumph's like, this is actually a Chris Christie on the scale right now. It's so mean. I couldn't help it. And he's like, see, it's still going up. And then he's like, this is how many people have no idea who John Kasich is. And then he goes, this is how many people that Donald Trump wants deported.
That's it?
Yeah. It's like 13 trillion. It keeps going up. And then there's a part. It's really bad. You have to just go watch it. I mean, it's pretty vulgar, so maybe I shouldn't say it. And he actually bashes Republicans a lot, which I shouldn't say, I guess, because everyone thinks I'm just pro-Republican or whatever. But he goes to a restaurant that Chris Christie is about to go to. And he acts like they're there to prepare the way for Christie at this restaurant. And he's like, okay, we have to prepare the way. Let me talk to the waitresses. And he's telling the waitresses, now you have to make sure there's no food around at all because he might likely lunge after it.
It might get violent.
and then he's like, make sure if you feed him just one fish at a time. And don't show him the bucket of other fish. And he's like
SeaWorld?
If you've seen Chris Christie, I mean.
Oh, I get you.
And he's like, make sure to feed him with your palm open because he might think your finger is like a French fry and just
chicken finger.
It was so. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. And then there's like a pie. There's a pie display or a cake display under glass or whatever, and he's like, I have to make sure. He's like, I don't know if this glass can hold this. This needs to be at least an inch thick. And he's like, did Marco Rubio put this here? This is dirty politics. Putting a cake display at a Christie event.
That is funny.
Oh my gosh! But yes, I'd go watch it. It's pretty funny. Although it bashes Republicans more than Democrats, but it does bash Democrats too. And it bashes Trump, which is always good.
Yeah, that's always fun.
All right, you've been listening to Beyond Reason. The last segment might have been the most Beyond Reason, but I am going to get ready with my Diet Coke date while watching the GOP debate.
You squeeze that lemon, Mike.
I will. And my coupons and gift cards are all ready.
Leave the coupon at home, but go for the rest.
No. I have to be myself. It shows how responsible
everyone
I am.
knows you're not yourself until the fourth date.
Okay, good point. All right, you're listening to Beyond Reason Radio. You're BeyondReasonRadio.com, and I will catch you guys next time.